Welcome to Divorce Diaries Show podcast. I'm the creator of Divorce Diaries, Michelle Trina, and welcome. I have my Cafe Bustelo in hand. I got my phone on my left side. The sun is brightly shining into my window that I look out of at 5 a.m. and say, I just need 5 more minutes. But I did 3 days this week. I got my butt up at 5 a.m. If you don't know this about me, I joined this, this 5 a.m. writers club on Twitter. I was like, what's this about? People get up at 5 a.m. and write. And it's actually most productive for me. It's actually the most, I'm at the highest peak, I feel like, of focus at that time. Although I will say I was never diagnosed with ADHD or anything. I definitely have some kind of ADHD, OCD, where I get overwhelmed, distracted, and obsessive over things that take me away from my goal. If you feel the same way, hit a like, send me an email. I want to know your thoughts. Tweet me at Divorce Diaries. Divorce Diaries Show, but the at tweet is at Divorce Diaries with an extra S, because when I originally got my Twitter account, someone already had that. Okay. Anyway, so I sometimes wake up and I can't get up at 5 a.m. because I don't know what to do first. My brain's a little overwhelmed. I'm allowing stress into my brain as opposed to letting myself like just take in the gratitude. Right? I wish gratitude came first and then any things we had to quote unquote worry about came after, but that would be then a perfect world, wouldn't it? Perfect world would be no worries or concerns. But here we are. And this week, I had a lot of back and forth with getting the goal of getting more gigs, right? So I got 3 Divorce Diaries bookings, and but I also lost a part that I was supposed to play in a SAG film. And I want to share this story because if you are an actor who's listening to this and or an entrepreneur or somebody that is a freelance gig, they called us during the pandemic, what do they call us? A gig worker. It makes us sound less than, right? That we're entrepreneurs. Fuck that, man. Come on. So if you're a gig worker, or you freelance, or you have your own business, or even if you're at a quote unquote 9 to 5, if you've ever been taken advantage of with your contract or your money, I want you to listen to this. I was cast in a SAG film and I never received a contract. And they told me, you're going to get your SAG card. We'll get a Taft-Hartley, this whole 9 yards. So this was back in April, I believe. Or actually, I believe it was March. And months go by, and every month the producer is telling me, how it will be next month we're filming, and it'll be next month, and it's going to be this month, and we'll get the contract to you. He's working on it. Text her. She's working on it. Cut to almost September now. I need you to, or no, cut to July. This guy is texting me also random things about the film, but like dialoguing to me as if we're producing the film together. And I have like 4 lines in the script, so I don't even understand this. So I finally say, please stop contacting me when I am. And he does. He gets a little nasty with me because I said to only contact me through my manager. Because at this point, it's uncomfortable for me to keep talking to this guy. I told the writer, and the writer was like kind of trying to play neutral and saying, no, we have the contracts. No, as far as I know, all this stuff. And I like the writer a lot, but this producer became more and more foul as I tried to I got my manager involved, who my manager didn't get me the job, but he wants to stick up for me and stick up for what's right as his client. So my manager spoke with him and said, you need to get her a deal memo. We need a deal memo. This is so that we know that she gets paid. A lot of people don't like to hear that, like when we say that to their job, because they're like, well, of course I'm going to pay you. We don't know that though. Like, I would never take offense if someone said, I need a deal memo, and I was hiring them to do Divorce Diaries. Of course I'm going to get you a deal memo. Why would I not? It's just odd. And so cut to last week, he sends the dates, still no deal memo. And I said, yeah, send a contract, a deal memo. What he emails my manager is, I'm going to read it. Fuck it. Let's see what he emails my manager. A long descriptive it was a run-on sentence. So that's not a deal memo, expressing your thoughts about me and filming in a run-on sentence. That is not a deal memo. That is you needing to go back to your therapist or your doctor to figure out how to communicate to people. And I'm not even joking. At one point I stopped when I was like cursing this guy out and said, "Wait a minute. Is he got some is there something that I don't know about him that he has? Is he I'm trying to phrase this correctly because everyone knows I teach kids with special needs. I work in the special ed community. My daughter's a IEP and all this stuff. I started to think maybe this guy has special needs I'm not aware of. No. So we're going to read the email he sent. Okay, so the first email, and this is supposed to be a deal memo, I guess, but it's not. It's just a paragraph. Here's the situation. We originally wanted to shoot on the 20th. However, insert a celebrity's name that we don't even know is attached to this project, is in town for the last week of August. So there's a chance we'll be shot on the 2nd of September with rehearsal in the 1st, mandatory. It was originally a blank name a country film studio film, and a large portion of the movie was already filmed in blank, blank. But since the war, we moved our team blank, blank. Okay, so you probably just figured out. He was talking about Ukraine. He's saying it was going to be filmed in Ukraine too. Okay, fine. My director said the SAG contract will take another 4 weeks or so to complete. That is false. I worked on a SAG contract and I worked on getting a SAG contract for my film. Now with the budget, I don't know the other budgets, but I'm almost positive that doesn't make any sense. And when I asked a person who was on the film originally, and she still is, I think, she told me that they're still looking for funding. I don't know what the truth is, but this email goes on and it says Michelle is non-SAG, so she would get paid in a certain amount of money and then get another waiver or Taft-Hartley into SAG. This was also false information because he told me I was just going to get my SAG. He was going to get me a Taft-Hartley. We have many well-known actors in the film and are acquiring more as the filming goes on. The filming has not started. So what are you talking about? Call me if you have any questions. If she does not want to appear, if she does not want to appear, the film, just let us know in advance so we can get some name to play that role. He writes this. Also, when our entire production is safe from the war and in America, we will be producing 3 to 4 films a year with our next one called 2. Nobody is asking you that information. Okay, so he keeps going on. And then, so this is not a deal memo. This is basically a dig that you're lucky you're even still cast in it, right? That's how you take it. Okay, so my manager writes back, we need a deal memo. It has nothing to do with Michelle not wanting to appear in it. I've told you from the beginning she's wanted to, right? Well, let's see. And so this producer does not like the fact that we want to deal. Like, we didn't say anything nasty to him. My manager didn't say anything nasty to him. He's like, she needs a deal memo. And he wrote a long email to my manager, and it says, oh wow, I didn't read this just now. He said, I am very happy about decision. We don't let scum in our family. You can do whatever you want. I'm sure they will understand an Academy Award nominee doesn't work with scum. I knew once I heard your voice, my decision was the right one. He sends this to my manager. And then my manager says, I'm going to notify SAG. Since you gave us an offer in writing rescinded, I'm sure they will have something to say. And then he goes, we're going to pass. Oh, I guess. Okay. So he says that first. Oh, it's crazy. I'm looking at the way the email is written and it's just nuts. Okay. He said, we're going to pass. I have less stress hiring named actors. I've been in this industry for 40 years with more credentials than most. Okay. First of all, if you've been in the industry for 40 years and you have more credentials than most, you wouldn't say that. And you would not be giving us a hard time to have a contract. I usually just pick up the phone and work deals with much trust, and of course, paperwork is done. So then why isn't our paperwork done? But right now I'm under the gun because I'm moving a production and a production company from Ukraine to America and overwhelmed as it is. Hey, we totally get that, but no one's telling you to shoot then next week with no contracts. I'll call one of my friends who are established names who I can count on. I only had a week before more shooting occurs, and honestly, I never worked harder on any film in my life with the circumstances. We will keep her in mind for our next film after this one, which is called Two. By that time, I'll have plenty of time to go back and forth with people, and things will be in better order. And that's when he started to call my manager scum. After my manager's like, fine. He wrote me a text message too that was pretty foul. So this guy is supposed to be a producer, and he's calling my manager scum, and he's pretty much implying that I'm scum because he has worked with named actors who give him less problems. All I wanted the whole entire time was a contract that he failed to deliver. So how are we scum? Because he thinks that he's being questioned about paying us. You are being questioned about paying us because most people that start a job have a contract in place. Most, if not all, unless it's my best friend who's like, can you help me move and I'll Venmo you $30. I'm 40 years old. I'm not taking a job without a contract. I've been working hard as an actor for years. Even when I was doing it part-time and teaching full-time, I still don't have any kind of agreement in place. I don't work unless there's an agreement in place. It's just protecting yourself and having respect for yourself. And this guy just I totally felt bummed and felt shitty, even though his words mean nothing, they still hurt, like I have less problems with named actors, then I go on Instagram and I'm looking at all these comedians who have spots at New York Comedy Club, spots at the Stand, and I don't. I have, my show at Broadway Comedy Club, which I'm super grateful for. Any stage time I've tried to get that can coincide when I don't have my daughter, I worked last night at a restaurant upstairs working all new material for Divorce Diaries, which was great, but there was nobody there, just me. So I had my own rehearsal space, which I'm thankful for. But I have to pave a different journey for myself, and sometimes I can feel very doubtful. Sometimes, and this guy's words were definitely hurting, even though it was clearly his own issue. I spoke with the writer, and the writer said that he had said my manager, had threatened him. And I laughed. I said, well, that's a lie, but I can't tell you that because you don't have to believe me. I know that's a lie. My manager could barely step on a bug. He's such a nice guy. And he's asking for a contract. I said, and I was CC'd on all those emails. So there was nothing there. And I read the text and the emails that this guy sent. And if the writer is bullshitting me and telling me, oh, because the writer said I am actually concerned after hearing that, I'm sure he doesn't really care because he's getting paid. He's getting paid something from this producer to be able to stay with this producer because this producer is not well. Okay. And so that whole thing put me in a funk this I guess in the middle of the week. And attacking as many auditions as I've been attacking and not booking anything yet. I booked a commercial back in June, and I've been just hailing away at auditions, and I've booked some comedy spots but no actual acting spots. So I'm questioning my ability, and I know my ability is good and strong, but it's just I'm questioning what the problem is. So this didn't help, and I literally the next day got 2 emails back to back. San Diego was booked. My manager called me and said I had another booking in October. And I think he solidified 2, and then I solidified San Diego. So it was great. I have 3. I have San Diego. I'm going to be at Divorce Diaries is going to be at the Mic Drop Comedy Club. Supposed to be a Catch a Rising Star at the beginning of October. I have to ask him. I think it's the end of October. Yeah, no, the end of October. And then also I have another separate stand-up gig in September as well. So I was thrilled. Now, the amount of energy that I'm putting into all these acting auditions is exhausting, and I'm worth it, but I want to book something. So I'm questioning what is wrong, with my submission. So I don't know. We'll see how it happens in the next week. I added a new acting reel. I did get requests. I've been getting requests to submit self tapes, which is great, but I'm not getting the part. So that's where I'm like, something's not right. I'm sorry, I'm not paying for a ring light. I have a lamp that I use. And maybe it's is it my skin? Is it my makeup? Like right now I don't have any makeup on. I'm using the light from my bedroom from my window, and I think that this is great. I don't want to put heavy makeup on for these auditions, so whatever makeup I'm using, I don't know if that's what it is. Who knows? Okay. So, working without a contract and in this industry and in whatever industry you are in, and making sure you don't settle for less than what you're worth, this is the big part of life, right? And divorce is a contract, right? What, you totally saw the hair under my arms. So if you're still tuning in, I apologize. I have to shave. Just a side note, have you ever let your hair grow so long that you can notice it when you look down? Yeah. I'm going to shave tonight. I bought one of those $2 razors, which is pretty darn good, considering no one's will be touching my leg anytime soon. Okay. Know your worth. Make sure that you don't put yourself down if somebody backs away because you ask for a contract. When I say that, it's easier said than done because I definitely feel like, oh, so I was being the difficult one, when in reality, I wasn't. But because that guy got so defensive about a contract, it made me feel that I was being difficult when in reality I wasn't. And if it is true what the other girl texted me that they're still looking for funding, then he lied the entire time. I want to give another shout out to Fashion King 77. Let's see what other people I have on my Twitter that are just doing amazing things. Oh, you know what? I probably should just leave this at the beginning of the episode. I should do that, right, guys? All right, so I'll go back to my Twitter in a second. So this Jewish divorce doctors, what is a doctor for? I'm so nervous when I think of him. Okay. This divorce rabbi is going to be on Wednesday, unless he cancels again, and then I'm going to fucking give him a little piece of my mind. No, I'm kidding. He was actually on my live on my Instagram, and he said something to my manager that pissed off my manager because my manager was listening. And my manager has told me you should date a Jewish guy. And Noam was like, that's because he wants to date you. I was like, no, what's my manager was pissed. He's like, I am your, manager. And I was busting on Noam. I'm like, don't say that. That's not appropriate. So he apologized. But Noam and I are totally flirty on the Instagram live. And then, so I am going to bring up to him, like, let me ask you a question. He lives in California, by the way. Oh God. So he's he's far away. Let me ask you a question, Noam. If I come out to California and I am single, which we know I will be, and you come to my show or we meet up for coffee or something, motherfucker, you better come to my show. I'm coming to your area. And it goes well, what in your head do you already have a limitation on me? I'm just here for a couple days. She's not going to be anything but a friend with benefits. I would never date Michelle because she'd put me in her material. She probably is too neurotic for me. Like, what in your brain? Like, see how I'm already putting myself down to how awful. Because that's how I feel like I've been engaging with these men that make me feel that way. And that's my own thing, But I'm going to ask him, I'm going to be like, so in your brain, if we hit it off, are you already putting me in a category of only friend with benefits or just a hookup? Like, is there something in your brain that would put you in that way? Or would you say, hey, I would date her? I'm just curious. And also, I watched the Paris Hilton documentary last night, and I was like, at one point, scared to go to bed. And another point, I never thought I would ever feel bad for Paris Hilton and in my life. And I don't have anything against her. I think especially after now watching that documentary, I'm if not motivated by her actions to keep fucking pushing ahead. It is a documentary that was very depressing about what could happen to a child who goes to one of those bad behavior camp things. And it's real. Like I I watched it and I was like, yeah, there's so many out there like that. And it's scary because no matter how quote unquote bad a kid is or how troubled they are, they're acting out, you do not do anything to them that's going to make their trauma worse. I was so depressed watching that, but because her parents were like aware. Well, they weren't fully aware of what happened, but anyway, the whole thing, I would recommend that documentary, but watch it during the day because I didn't want to go to sleep afterwards. Um, and you see like hurt, you see hurt, pain, anxiety behind this woman's eyes. And then her ex-boyfriend, she's married now to like a better guy. I'm happy for that. But sure, this guy she was dating was like a literally, it reminded me of when I've dated guys that almost ruin my set because of what the kind of anxiety they've caused me. This boyfriend was causing her such anxiety, throwing a fit right before her DJ set. She was crying. I felt so bad for her. Anyway, my friend Liz is calling me, and I'm going to take the call in a second. Let's see what she has to say about this Jewish. This I keep calling him a Jewish doctor. He's not a Jewish doctor. The rabbi. Hold on one second. We'll be right back. Okay. Liz was going to pop on, but she's got some stuff to handle. Back to school's coming up. I'm nervous. I don't. I'm more nervous. I'm more nervous because I just want my daughter to have a teacher that's kind and caring and doesn't tell her nasty things. Um, what does that mean? I was a full time teacher, and there's teachers that talk to kids in ways that's not super nice, and then there's teachers that use appropriate positive reinforcement phrases. I make a joke about positive reinforcement, but it is actually very helpful for kids like my daughter who has social emotional processing challenges sometimes. AKA, she's also very sensitive, like her mama. All right, so we are going to see more of Divorce Diaries this Wednesday with my special guest, Noam. And you guys, if you are listening to this, I will post the video on Wednesday of this week. That is, I think, August 31st. So stay tuned for more. If you are in the New York City area, September 18th at Broadway Comedy Club, San Diego, November 6th. And then check my website for the links for other shows that I will be doing once the tickets are live. I'm very excited. Keep living your happily divorced after. And remember, ask for a fucking contract.